Welcome to the new version of Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and together with Bjorn Kunzel, we're going to talk about everything real estate. We talk about what's working, what's not working, what's new, what's old, technology, and anything else to do with real estate. We'll answer your questions from the Facebook group Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you have a question, we can help. Join the Facebook group today. And again, welcome to the show. Okay, welcome back, Bjorn Kunzel, and welcome to Emily Morgan, our head of country for EXP in Australia. Welcome back,
Bjorn. Me, guys.
Thanks for coming, Emily. Okay, today's podcast, we're going to be talking about what you can do in lockdown. Really trying to focus on the positives of, the future and what you can do, not what you can't do. So, Emily, you've been in lockdown for some time now in Victoria. You said that you've got some stories to tell. Can you share some of these stories with us?
What I guess I have noticed, particularly this lockdown, I think it's 6.0 in Melbourne, going on 230 something days. I'm not even sure anymore. But look, basically, I believe that we could possibly be in a lockdown of some kind until Christmas. So we have to look at how we're going to earn money as real estate agents, how we're going to feed our families, and what does that look like? And for me in particular, I've just concentrated on connecting with people, communicating with people, because I'm talking to a lot of real estate agents. A lot of referrals have come my way, whether they be from sort of Queensland or whether they be internally, agents that I'm talking about bringing inside to EXP. They might have referrals that they'd like me to deal with. And so what I have been finding, and it was me actually stopping the process from happening. I thought as an agent, no, we can't possibly make your property live. Oh, we can't even get a photographer there. Rather than thinking, what are the solutions and how do I help this person to get to their next step? Because there are still people right now that have to purchase property. Or there are people that want to purchase property because they want a change of lifestyle, right? Particularly in a lockdown scenario. And so you've got a scenario where I guess out in rural, there are properties that are going online and being purchased sight unseen that very afternoon. Now, over the past couple of weeks, I have listed 2 properties that have come from referral. What I have done is had Zoom meetings with those particular vendors because you cannot leave the house. Even Sydney can do a one-on-one inspection, but in Melbourne, we cannot do that. It is currently illegal. So thanks to Bjorn, what I have been doing is getting that property listed, getting the marketing collateral done by box brownie photos. So I can't go there, neither can the photographer. So I'm getting the owner to take those photos, getting the photos done, getting a video done up. And then what I'm finding as well is that buyers, probably about 25% of buyers are actually happy to purchase sight unseen at the moment. And it was actually me saying, oh no, they won't possibly do that. And lo and behold, here we go. Sales are happening, listings are happening. And I just have this feeling that a lot of agents in the industry have sort of put life as we know it on hold, if you will. And they believe that there's a complete inability to earn a living right now. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
We've got to find new solutions. And we don't know what even normal might look like if we get to that point. So we've got to look at what we've got right now.
Yeah, got to be creative, don't we?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're finding that it was a limiting self-belief ultimately that had you thinking that you couldn't transact. But I mean, you're the head of Australian operations here at EXP Australia, which is the company that I'm with as well here in South Australia. And I guess this is part of the way that we've adapted as a business, because we are an online cloud-based business. So you've got a home office just like I do over here. Yep. Now, fortunately, South Australia, we're not in lockdown at the moment, but we have experienced a few lockdowns and we have had to adapt to those. But there's ways of doing things. So it's all about basic problem solving, really, Emily.
Correct. Yeah. People, you say it, Bjorn. It's one of your sayings. Be the solution to people's problems. And just because we're in a hard lockdown, that does not mean that not one single person has to transact real estate.
No, exactly. And I think, no matter what happens, and it may be difficult now, but people are going to be selling, even, the transactions that you're doing now, sight unseen. Once lockdown, is over, people will still be selling. Like, it's not like everyone's going to stay there. There is going to be, I think, an influx into the market later on as well. But you can transact while you are in lockdown,
people
and that's
still want to sell their house, Lisa.
Exactly, and people still want to buy.
That says that we can't.
Yes.
Honestly, it's just been a conversation and sending across all the research and the sales proposal, and then I'm ready to go. A couple of questions, cool, done, send it all across. It doesn't.
Exactly.
I think that people make the mistake of making real estate super hard, and it's just not.
Yeah, I think, well, the first thing is you've really got to be careful of your mind, minding your mind, and say listening to like Tony Robbins or something like that, which he's a master on limiting beliefs. And if you find yourself in that mindset, then Tony Robbins is somebody who that's his specialty is those limiting beliefs. So, kind of mind your mind. I think that's a really big thing. Stop listening to the news and all that sort of stuff and the fear mongering, and just try and control what we can control, not what we can't control. I think that's a big thing. And exercising, like when you can, like, what's the rule with exercising now in Victoria?
1 hour a day and within 5K. But I find music has actually probably been one of the bigger saviours than exercise.
Yes.
Really, I think that a lot of people have turned to probably sort of heavy drinking and things like that, whereas I don't really think that helps, to be fair. But just music, do stuff that sets your soul on fire, do stuff you really enjoy. Part of lockdown for me I just thought last year, well, what is it that I enjoy? I don't know, because I only have ever really had real estate and the family, right? Is there anything else that exists?
No.
And so I had to find things that I enjoyed, and it was a rediscovery, and it was really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And Bjorn, we spoke about having the daily schedule, and so that might be something that you schedule in, exercise with music and things like that. What are some of the daily schedules, Bjorn, that you would recommend?
Well, I think what I'm hearing here from Emily, who's experiencing this, is it's really, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. So this is very important. I think this is the foundation that agents out there watching or listening to this need to understand, that there is a way around every problem. Now, ideally, the best scenario is you can have a full-blown auction campaign. You've got professional photographers and professional videographers and all this sort of stuff happening, and everything's looking Mickey Mouse and 100% like the image behind me. But the reality is that people just want to buy and people want to sell, and they don't care about if there's actually a hole in that wall behind me, or if there's a hole in this ceiling, or if it's messy, or if it's untight, or whatever it might be, or if the photos are a little bit duller than what they normally are, or whatever it may be. But Emily's gone and thought, you know what, I'm going to get the vendor involved in this. The vendor wants to solve a problem of getting their property sold. So I'm going to be the agent, and I'm going to say, look, well, we can't get photographers out there, but I'm going to get people to come through and get this done. So I think that's the first and foremost thing that we need to get right. But then, like you said, with the schedule, I think it's important. I know when I was in lockdown, I had set times and that I was doing particular tasks. So in the morning, I would brainstorm for an hour. What can I do today? What tasks need to be completed today? And how can I reach out and help someone today? Whether or not it's a friend, a family member, or whatever. And I always try to start the day with something positive.
Yeah.
Hey, mum and dad, how are you going? Do you need anything? Uncles, aunties, nieces, whatever it might have been. And then I thought, okay, well, from 10 o'clock until lunchtime, I'm going to just tidy things up. So might tweak a little bit of marketing here and there. We might get some new marketing ordered and on the way, because obviously you've got things like Vistaprint and you've got Amazon. You can order still things online. So we sort of get into that space. Then, let's have an hour for lunch, get lunch out of the way. And then let's look at following up some potential prospects and saying to them, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, look, we are in a lockdown at the moment, but we are still having success and we are still getting properties sold. I'd like to get you prepared for when this lockdown ends, or even if it doesn't end, what we can do, because if you still want to achieve your goals of moving, you know, I've come up with some solutions on how we can maybe work around it. It's a little bit left field and it's going to involve a little bit more work from you. But I'm actually, you know, even happy to adjust and sharpen my fees a little bit because you're doing a bit more of the work in order for us to get you from A to Z. And just having a sort of a routine, because that sort of brought back a normality for me. And then in the afternoon, obviously our kids were still allowed to attend school, luckily, during ours. Then I'd spend time with the family then. But I found having some sort of schedule brought some sort of normality, because otherwise it was on Facebook and COVID this and COVID that and, you know, all these other
brings you down.
All this weight from the world just on your shoulders. But the positive mindset was very important. And having a schedule just gives you something to do at a certain set time to feel.
And have that certainty. And I mean, even with those photos, like if the vendor took the photos, to make a note of that, you know, to disclose that in your ad. You know, unfortunately, because of COVID, normally we would have, you know, lockdowns. Normally we would have professional photographer.
Photos end up looking pretty good, guys. If
they
you
did
your owner to take 50 photos. You can't tell me you can't get 10 good photos once they've
hopefully.
And on top of that, it's raw, it's real, it's people don't get the sense of, oh, but I'm going to walk in there and the photographer's got his wide angle lens and actually that room's only half the size of what it looked like in the photograph. And again, on top of that, Bjorn, based on what you said before, I'm even going a step further than that with doing my calls. And I actually don't do a lot of prospecting myself. It sort of just flows naturally because I've got a lot of other things to do. However, I'm really taking them into the space of I can be your solution right now. I have COVID-proofed my business, so I can get you sold. And I can get you on the market for as little as a few $100s. In fact, it's actually a better situation for you right now, Mr. and Mrs. Owner. And do you know why? Because every other real estate agent is holding their listings back. So there is nothing coming to the market, absolutely nothing. We all know how many buyers there are out there, right? So this is your time to shine. Let's go.
Yeah,
I love it. You're their solution. And when you deliver that confidently, they're like, okay, great.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting, Emily, because the first lockdown we ever had with COVID, which is back in early 2020, before I joined EXP, my boss said, guys, the office is shut. We've got to shut the office, do what you can do, and you've got to go. I said, okay, fair enough. So 2 weeks off, whatever, all good. I was fine then. But then I thought about it. I thought, oh, Max, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But I didn't have access to the computer because everything's all, you know, securitized. I'm not allowed to access this. I'm not allowed to access that. I'm not allowed to access this. And I said, look, can I just have the password so that I can at least have remote access to the computer? The answer was, no, you can't. I thought, well, can I at least, you know, upload somebody into my database and then can I send that to you? And no, we shut down, Bjorn. We shut down for the next 2 weeks. We're in lockdown. Nothing's happening, mate. You're just going to have to tell your vendors to wait. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have to tell people to wait.
Because if I had said that to someone in Melbourne 2 years ago, they'd possibly still be waiting.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, this just isn't on. Like, I'm here. My client needs me. I'm here to solve their problems. And I'm telling them, sorry, I can't solve your problem right now. I said to my boss, look, there's ways of doing things, like exactly what you said about, I'll get the vendor to do a Zoom or to do this. He goes, nah, wait until everything's, and that really concreted, because I was looking at the EXP model back then. And that really concreted my decision. I looked at EXP and I thought, well, you know, if I was with EXP and this thing happened, I could actually still transact and still do business because it's an actual COVID-proof model. And then during the second lockdown, I was with EXP, and that was a 2-week lockdown, and I sold 4 houses and I listed 2 houses. So there you go.
And that's the thing. Our last 4 podcasts have been exactly about that, like making your business pandemic proof and using technology the entire way through, from prospecting to settlement, basically. So, you know, that's something we just have to make our businesses, you know, pandemic proof, don't we? You know, using technology, which we can. So let's, sorry.
Here's one last thing, Lisa, before we go, and this is my thought at the moment. There used to be Bjorns of this world right now that are sitting out there that are probably looking at this podcast going, how, what, I understand. I really, I feel for those people, particularly because I used to be one of them that is currently trying to transacting only a minuscule amount of properties that they used to possibly. and on top of that are giving away 50 or more %.
Mm.
And I just
Yeah.
ask, right now, in particular, where's that value?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that,
especially when you need the
because,
money.
yeah, it is a game changing business, and I thank you for everything you're doing for the team in EXP in Australia and the innovation. I mean, even some of the things that I've come up with along the way. You know, we need Home Pass. We need Home Pass Premium. Okay, why? Pitch it to them. Take it to you guys. You take it to the States. Get it. We need this prospecting system for our database, which, you know, we want Reader. Okay, yep, bang, bang, bang. Why?
Has that ever happened for you in a past life, Bjorn?
It
Like corporate, I would like X. Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't. And now my business is at a point where it's personal. And I don't need to worry about transacting 100 houses anymore. I can transact 50 houses and earn exactly the same as what I did when I transacted 100, which means the clients get better service, the buyer gets better service, everyone's getting more of Bjorn, and Bjorn's giving more of himself to his family and to his friends and all the rest of it. So Bjorn's not stressed out. So Bjorn's clear-headed, Bjorn's clear-minded, Bjorn can produce better, and it's just been an absolute game changer. So thanks for everything you're doing for us at the company.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I think Lisa's got a few ideas of a few things that maybe these agents that are not in our situation can maybe adapt into their business to try to get them through this tough time. And maybe we can discuss a few of those, if that's okay with you, Emily.
Go, Lisa.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'll read out some that we've put together. So first of all, just some things that you can do while you're in lockdown to create results. First of all, your database, which you spoke about, Emily, like keeping in contact with people and just making sure they're okay. The end result, obviously, you're making sure that people are okay, showing that you care about them, and also, you know, that's potential business that may come to you later on as well. Prospecting sources. Also in my real estate training community, I've got gazillions of ways to get listings, particularly now because a lot of the sellers are saying they don't want to sell because they've got nowhere to go. I would suggest investment properties. So that's one that I would be targeting, because then you haven't, you know, got somebody that's, you know, the seller that's you know, got to find somewhere to live. It's a tenant. But yeah, so I would definitely be focusing on those. Provide desktop valuations for people, specific target prospecting, definitely. So if a seller says they've got nowhere to go door knocking for that seller. You know, just the same as I'm door knocking here for you to find a property for someone else, I will do the same thing for you. Planning your marketing. So come out of lockdown strong. In real estate training community also, we've got the best month ever. You know, it'd be something where you can sit back and go, okay, how do I plan my best listing month ever? Sit down, plan it all out. You know, that's something that I would be doing.
Plan it, implement it.
Yeah, well, as soon as you come out, you know,
notorious for learning things that they never implement.
Yeah, exactly. But also getting ready for it. And I think also don't stop your marketing when you're in lockdown either. You know, it's the time when people have stopped it, so ramp it up. But, you know, like, you know, get everything ready for your best month ever. SEO for keywords and things like that. There's a program called, or a website called Word Tracker, which I find is really good. So, you know, go into that and look at your search engine optimization, make sure you're using the right keywords throughout everything, through your social media platforms, your websites, everything. Strategies in your social media. So follow people like, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, see what they're doing right, and follow like-minded people that are like you and see their strategies, what you can do. YouTube, doing videos, of course, getting video testimonials. You do a lot of video testimonials, don't you, Bjorn? I think they're freaking awesome. Yeah, they are the best.
Rough, rugged, and you know what? You can call a past vendor. You can call your past vendor and say, "Hey guys, how you going? I hope you're doing all right with the lockdown. You know, how's everything going? How's the family?" Have a conversation. Then they're going to ask you back, because you've got a relationship with. How about yourself, Bjorn? How are you doing? Oh, well, look, I'm just trying to brainstorm a little bit, trying to come up with some new ideas. It's really tough trying to transact now. You know, I'm glad that we're able to get it done for you in the past, but I had an idea and I was hoping that you might be able to help me out with it. You were happy with everything that we did for you, yeah? Yeah. Would you employ me again, knowing what you know now? And they're going to say yes, because you're not going to cook somebody that you've had a bad experience with. And you shouldn't have a bad experience with anyone anyway. Right? If you care about people, it won't be a bad experience. I was wondering if you could do me just one little favor. Would you mind maybe just taking out your iPhone and just saying a few nice, kind words for me? Because I'm finding it, I am struggling a little bit with my business at the moment, and it is sort of, the numbers are way down. and I've got to feed my family. And I find video testimonials from people that I've helped in the past are the best way to showcase that you're real and that what I say that I'm going to deliver, I deliver. Would you mind maybe just doing a quick little video about anything you want to say and just sending it to me? I'd really appreciate it. It'd be great. And is there anything I can do for you? You know, and just having that sort of conversation, and I guarantee you 8 out of 10 will go, yeah, what do you want me to say? There might be a few camera shy people go, oh, I'm happy to write something, but I'm not really a camera person. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Could you leave a review on this side, or could you write me a handwritten letter and take a photo of it or scan it and email it to me? That'd be appreciative. Just really appreciate it. And if there's anything I can do for you guys, just let me know. You'd be surprised. You're going to find that 80 to 90% of the time, people are going to go, yeah, no worries. You can put that on your social media. You can put that out there. You know,
on your website, on your phone, in a listing presentation to show people, all of your social media platforms. Yeah.
So give that a try, guys, because that's one little strategy and one little tactic that when you are talking to new prospects and you tell them stories, because stories are the best way of selling anything. Tell them a story. Oh, yeah, I helped this couple that were in the same sort of situation as you, and and it was during COVID and this and that and that. And what we actually did is we did this, and I actually got them to do this and do that and that. Actually, I've got a video on it. I'll send it to you. And then
show them you're a professional. Don't tell them you're a professional.
Yes.
Exactly. We always say, oh, I won this award and I'm amazing and I sold this and I sold. No, don't
care.
do that.
Get somebody else to say it. Yes, exactly.
Somebody else say it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, you know, the rawer it is, the better. You don't want to, hello.
Not lights, camera, action. No.
You want to be like, yeah, well, we were in a bit of a tight spot because, you know, COVID had just screwed everything. The bloody COVID, I'm over it. But anyway, Emily came up with some ideas, and you know what? She actually got her house sold. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I had to do a bit of this and a bit of that. But mate, seriously, she thinks outside the square.
Got it done.
This, it's probably because you're thinking about doing the same thing. It actually works. Yeah, it's a little bit more work, but you know, go Emily. That's how you want it. Just real, rugged, and raw. No script, no nothing. Just let it be real.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, another thing we can do is have a look at your About Me page on your website. You know, most people have got, 3 or 4 lines. Really start to beef that up, whether that's on your company's website or your own personal website. Really build that up and put some video testimonials on that. Make your About Me page like your resume. It's an online resume. So make sure that you've got that. You've got links to different things, whether it is links to different awards and things like that. Make sure that that's up to scratch. As you said, beyond the review sites, make sure that you've got, as many reviews, and use that in your listing presentation as well. Everything we've got to look at is a listing tool as well when you're going into your listing presentation. So anything like those, the testimonials or review sites, they're listing tools that are going to help you get the listing.
You should have a link at the bottom of your emails.
Yes, absolutely.
To your testimonials.
Yeah, absolutely. And to review sites too. A lot of agents do that as well. And one Bjorn thought of yesterday was if you presently have a registration certificate, possibly look at upgrading that to a license in this time as well. I think would be a good use of your time as well. So so they're the things that we wrote down. And I mean, there's plenty more things that you can do. Also go back to our last 4 podcasts where we talk about using technology and all that sort of thing. And if you can implement, say, Home Pass or some of those other technology platforms that you can learn to sort of have the edge and a USP over your competition, because a lot of agents aren't using technology. A lot are still back in the dark ages. And so the more that you can use technology, the more you've got got a USP, you've got something different to others, and you're trying to make yourself as pandemic proof as possible that you can still transact during these times as well in lockdown. Yeah.
Ladies, I really feel for all the business owners out there at the moment that are paying rent for buildings that are sitting there empty.
Yeah.
Okay, that have got staff that can't function and can't transact because they may or may not have remotely set them up. I mean, I'm sure a lot of businesses have remotely set their staff up, but I'd like to say to people, if you're watching this as you're an agent, or if you're watching this or listening to this and you're a business leader, what would it mean to you and your business if you could COVID-proof everything tomorrow, like Emily and I have at EXP?
Yep.
What would that mean for you, your family, and how would that change your life? Seriously.
Exactly.
Because I don't think this is going away, and I'm waiting for it to come to South Australia too, this Delta variant. because we've had a few little hotspots. It's only a matter of time. And I think this COVID, we're here to live with this for the rest of our lives, unfortunately. I can't see anything working. Lockdowns don't work. The mental health problems that the government has created through lockdowns, vaccines. I mean, you look at Israel, whether you're pro or anti-vax or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're massive vaccinated population that's ripping through there too. I think this is just something we've got to learn to live with. But how can we learn to live with it in our businesses to make sure that our families are protected?
And we're protected,
because we're in crazy times right now. This is unprecedented, crazy times. And I just want everyone to stay safe and plan ahead.
Find the solution. Be the solution to other people's problems. And by doing that and giving, you will most certainly find your own.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well said, Emily. Well said.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, guys. We'll leave it there. And Bjorn, we'll see you next week for the next podcast. And we'll see you soon, Emily, too. Thank you both for joining us. All right.
Thank you very much for your time today, Emily. Much appreciated. Thanks for joining us on our podcast. Bye for now.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in EXP, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for EXP Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.